That's a question we get a lot is, am I going to make it through retirement? So that question is really complex, depends on anybody's given situation. So let's look at a situation we have here, Joe and Gene Smith. So Joe and Gene, they've got about $600,000 saved for retirement. Oh, it's a modest amount, pretty good amount. They've got 2 IRAs and Joe's got a 401k. Now let's take a look. 5% return on average. That's pretty solid. It's not that bad. Let's take a look at their expenses. 5%. $5,000 monthly expenses. We're using an inflation rate of 1%. It's obviously low. All right. Well, then just using that basic information, stocks are invested in the stock market. Their IRAs are invested in the stock market. And yeah, let's go. Do they make it? Yes, they make it. Well, this is obviously the Goldilocks scenario for a number of reasons. So inflation here is 1%. Is inflation now 1%? No. Another thing here is these clients are at the full risk of the market. They have no protection whatsoever. There's also a potential issue with Social Security, which I'll get into in a bit. So these clients, they don't really have a plan. They've got some makings of things put together. They think, oh, we're going to be all right. But the question I ask everybody is, what happens if we don't get the Goldilocks scenario? What happens even using the scenario we have right now? Well, let's take a look at that. So here is a secondary scenario with a little bit more realistic situation. So today, 3.6% inflation. Do you believe that? I personally believe inflation is a little bit higher than that, but whatever. We'll use 3.6%. Same exact expense amount here. We're actually going to simulate a market loss in here as well. So one market loss of 20% because they don't have any protection. We'll see what that looks like. They completely run out of money at 91, but that's not all either. So let's go to expenses, 3.6. Well, that assumes the inflation rate never gets above 3.6 and that it's just there forever. We know that's not the case. We were just at 8 a couple years ago. Let's just put this number up to 6%. Let's see how that affects their overall situation. Took 11 years off. And even 6% isn't the lowest of what we've seen. So now, this couple who's got $600,000 saved up, they're running out of money at age 80. They don't have anything. That's no legacy, nothing to give their kids. They're not able to continue to take those nice vacations. They're not even in the early stages of retirement going to be able to take those vacations. So this is what happens when you don't have a plan. You just look at your assets and say, oh, I have XYZ amount of money. I have $500,000. I have $600,000. I'm great. Oh, this is my expenses. Well, as we saw here, inflation is a thing. And so we can take a look at cash flows, and let's look down the line 10 years from now. Gene and Joe Smith will be 73. Their expenses have now shot up to $8,700 a month, while their assets have not kept pace. So they do not have protection against the market. They do not have any inflation protection whatsoever. And they're also doing something wrong with Social Security. I'll let you, take a little guess of what you think it is. Yeah, that's right. So here we have Joe getting $3,000 a month, Gene getting $800, and they're married. Well, what's the problem here is Gene is entitled to the spousal credit, which means at age, whenever she takes, but if she gets it at age 67, she can get 50% of whatever Joe's amount is without reducing that amount to Joe. So this $800 now becomes 1,500, which is a very big deal, especially with inflation keeping up. But so many people come in, they say they have a plan, and they don't have any of this stuff in line. And so the things you got to ask yourself: how is it going to affect my situation if I'm not using the correct Social Security claiming strategy? If I don't have inflation protection? If I don't have protection against the stock market going down? These are things that we work with our clients, and we make sure have to be in place in order to have an actual plan in order for the client to get through retirement, because these are all major red flags we see. And so let me know down in the comments if you have any questions. Got a Calendly link as well. If you want to have, generally our process, we start with a 10-minute introductory phone call to really see if there's a fit there, because we don't take on everybody. We'll only take on a client if we know we can actually put a plan together that's going to materially change their situation. So let me know in the comments, and have a great rest of your day.